Hey guys, today is another movie review, and the first movie that I'll be sharing with you guys is Abduction. And Abduction is about a teenager who's, I think, about to graduate from high school, starts feeling like he doesn't belong in his family, and starts searching. After he gets an assignment that has to kind of sort of deal with this issue. And then he finds out that he was actually sort of taken from his family, from his real family, and that's when he goes on. That's when he realizes that there's a whole different story to his life, and then the parents that he has thought of as his parents for the whole time gets killed, and he has to go on the run. That's when he starts searching, and while he's running, to find out what is really going on and what's his past. So the filming of the movie was really well done. The thing that I really thought they did really well was when he was at the stadium at the end, and he had to slide down this tube thing, and I thought that was the best part of how they filmed it. So then the storyline, I thought it was really interesting how they developed this story. I did think that they did really well in keeping it balanced and developing it. It wasn't like too fast that you felt like it was being rushed, or too slow. I think they really did well with keeping it flowing smoothly. The characters, I do feel like I have issues with that guy, Tyler, whatever his name is. I never did really think that he was a good actor, so I was just a bit disappointed in his acting. But otherwise, I mean, the action parts, he did really well with the action. And the girl that plays alongside him in this movie, I like her. There's something about her that really plays well in this movie, so I appreciated her in this one. And so I would give it a 3.5 stars out of 5. The second movie that I will be sharing with you guys is Restless. And Restless is about a boy who is dealing with the death of his parents, and about a girl who's dealing with having cancer and the fact that she's most likely going to die. And these two people collide when they meet in a funeral, and the whole thing is that this kid, he goes to funerals, and I think that's just his way of dealing with his grief, and they meet and they become good friends. And then he has to deal with the fact that, you know, he's still dealing with the death of his parents, and then he's dealing with the fact that she's going to die. And so it's a really bad movie. But when it comes down to the filming and how they did with that, I thought they did really well. I liked the uniqueness of it. I loved that about it. When it comes to the storyline, I think that it's a bit slow, but I think that it wasn't like the type of slow where you feel irritated with it. I did appreciate the slowness of it. I think they purposely made it slow, but it wasn't too slow. If you understand what I'm trying to say, like, it wasn't too slow to the point that you felt yourself getting bored, but it wasn't fast either. So it was like a really well-paced movie to me, even if it was a bit slow. When it came to the characters, I thought that Mia was, I can't pronounce her last name, but you should know her from the Alice in Wonderland that played with Johnny Depp, and in Jane Eyre. So I really was excited to watch this movie just because I really like her as an actress. I think she does a wonderful job portraying the characters, and again, she did a wonderful job in this one too. And the boy that played the boy, I thought that he did a really good job too. So overall, it was a wonderful movie. I thought it was really beautiful and sad, and you felt for these kids. I give it a rating of 5 stars out of 5. The third movie is Moneyball, which is about I think he's a coach. Not really a coach, but he's like a leader of a baseball team, and he decides to find baseball team members in a very different way on the advice of a guy who does these kind of mathematical analysis about that stuff. And I started watching it, and I automatically was bored with it. I felt myself falling asleep, and I do not like baseball, but I was willing to watch it just because I watched the previews, and I thought it was going to be really interesting. But then I never did like Brad Pitt, and I was going to overlook the fact that I didn't like him to watch this movie, but then they had him chewing tobacco and spitting every other second, and I got myself so irritated with him, and the fact that I don't like him added to that irritation, and the fact that I hate baseball added to that. And the movie itself was very, very slow. I thought it was just running so slow, and there was these awkward silences between the talking, and it was just too weird. The conversation between each other was very awkward and strange and just not good, and so I will give this movie a 1 out of 5. The fourth and last movie is Beginners, and it's about a man who is dealing with the death of his father, and he starts a relationship with this I think she's French woman after meeting her at a party. And as he's dealing with his father's death, he's also dealing with the fact that before he died, he had revealed a big secret that he's been keeping from him for years, before his mother had passed away, and that was that he was gay. And so, he had to deal with that fact, plus that he, passed away. And so it's just about life, pretty much. It's just an immense story of life, and the filming was really well done. I liked the color and the way that they filmed it. Again, it was really unique. I was so intrigued by the parts where he was like telling the story through pictures. It was just these flash of pictures, and he was telling certain parts, and there was all these really cool pictures, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And the pictures does tie in with the character's job, where he's actually an artist of sorts, and he does covers for singers and stuff like that. So I was really intrigued with that whole thing, and I thought that the storyline was actually very interesting. I thought that they did it. It was like a very quiet storyline, kind of just drew you along, and were able to connect with the characters, which is really good. And I think that plays into it, the fact that the people who played these characters did a really good job in portraying them and giving you their personalities and making you feel for them and understand them, and even like get mad at them if they were doing something stupid or you didn't agree with them. So I feel like this was a really wonderfully done movie, and I think that when it comes down to these types of movies that are like this, that are independent, you have to take in mind that these are different and unique. I really appreciate how artsy this movie is, so I give it a 5 out of 5. That is all for me. Tell me if you watched any of these movies and what you thought of them, and until next time, peace out.